Quality of life crimes also top of mind for many in Baltimore.
From a retired judge to the Baltimore City State's attorney, Fox 45 is hearing from people who say the city has to do more when it comes to decreasing so-called low-level crimes.
If my car is missing or there's been a windshield broken, it's affecting my ability to feed my children. Why do we have to choose which things we're going to have and which things we're not?
We just have to get down to the nitty-gritty. We just have to do it.
Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Maxine Stryker.
And I'm Kai Jackson. Those frustrations are echoed during a community crime walk in Morrill Park this afternoon. City State's Attorney Ivan Bates walked with residents to listen and hear their concerns.
And we have team coverage tonight, starting with Fox 45's Vincent Hill. He was at today's walk and has more on what residents want for their neighborhood.
Well, Maxine and Kai, quite simply, they say they want what a Fed Hill or a Fells Point gets, more police presence, and they want lawlessness to stop in their neighborhood.
In the Morrill Park neighborhood.
Before I got elected and said, hey, if you give me a chance, I'm gonna be back.
City State's Attorney Ivan Bates keeping his promise.
It's getting that bad.
Walking and talking with residents about their concerns. Top of mind for many, quality of life crimes.
The Royal Farm Store is an open drug use place. You can just go up there, you can stand in front in the morning, and you can get your cup of coffee, and you can also get your dope.
Open air drug markets and rampant prostitution.
We just literally had someone got picked up on the boulevard like a minute ago by John, picked somebody up.
Just feet away from our cameras.
We're here to make sure we have your back, that we're a part. We have not forgotten you.
Bates telling residents he hears them loud and clear.
And we just have to get down to the nitty-gritty. We just have to do it. Whatever happened in the past happened. We're on the same page. Let's do this together.
One person who appears to be on the same page.
Over the last 10 years or so, less than 10 years, it's been a neglected area.
Candidate for mayor and former mayor Sheila Dixon praising Ivan Bates' citation docket used to go after low-level crimes.
This is a prime example of where the citation process could work effectively. Not locking up, but you're giving citations, you're giving warnings, you're telling them, hey, you can't lauder, you can't do this, and then go through the process.
In the neighborhood so far this year, there have been 6 auto thefts, 3 robberies, a carjacking, and 2 burglaries. The Morrill Park community, just over 1 square mile in total.
We're not talking Roland Park in, Howard County. This is a solid middle-class neighborhood, and the people want to stay in this community. But if it continues like this, you're going to lose some of those good people.
And during that 5-block walk, I lost count of how many discarded needles were on the grounds and in the alleyways. For now, we're live in Baltimore. Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News.
Vincent, thank you. Vincent mentioned the city citation docket. Ivan Bates launched that last year to tackle quality of life crimes that the Mosby administration didn't prosecute. In the past week, the docket's effectiveness has come into question. The question started last Wednesday at a city oversight hearing. That's when we learned BPD has only issued 37 citations that have made it to court. Nearly half were rejected because of mistakes. Police say it came down to incorrect wording.
Why is the volume of citations issued so low?
It's still a process for us, right, to issue a citation. Even if we see that individual doing something, we still have other policies that doesn't say as soon as we engage, we're automatically issuing a citation.
The state's attorney says the Maryland Comptroller and Field Enforcement Bureau, which had 83 citations make it to court, more than double the amount from BPD. The MTA had 64 citations sent to court. The state's attorney's office says they offered to train city police. Initially, police didn't accept the offer. Now police say officers will undergo that training. Mayoral candidate Sheila Dixon says the mayor needs to hold police accountable.
If I were mayor, heads would be rolling for the unexcusable behavior. The police department needs to step up. They need to get trained properly, understand what it takes, and then get out there and start providing these citations.
However, the problem isn't just with officers. The state's attorney's office says they sent an MOU to Monzi last year when the docket began to share diversion resources. However, the SAO says they never heard back.
They told us that was being reviewed by legal and then their director, but we've yet to receive any movement on that MOU. And as of January 22nd, we still had not received anything. And I know that as of today, it has yet to be signed.
MOU means a memorandum of understanding. Fox 45 News reached out to Monzi to see what their next steps would be. A spokesperson says leadership changes affected the MOU, but also says Monzi looks forward to establishing the agreement to ensure the long-term sustainability of the SAO's work.
And who should be held accountable for repeat offenders in the city? A retired judge and the mayor of Baltimore pointing fingers over that very question. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost spoke to that retired judge about what's going on.
Wanda Hurd says judges can only do so much, and she argues right now the concerns center around leadership, and that's a problem she says it will not be solved with pointing fingers. Broken glass in piles dotting the perimeter of Patterson Park. Cars getting stolen off Baltimore streets in record numbers. The latest data from Baltimore Police show almost 1,100 cars have been stolen this year. That's an 82% increase compared to the same time last year.
Quality of life encompasses everything we have in our community.
Before retiring in 2019, Wanda Hurd was the chief judge in Baltimore City Circuit Court. She lives in West Baltimore, and while Mayor Brandon Scott routinely touts declining violent crime numbers like he did just days ago.
We are down 17% in homicides and 8.7, almost 9% in non-fatal shootings.
She says that's not how people are feeling in Baltimore City.
If my car is missing or there's been a windshield broken, it's affecting my ability to feed my children. Why do we have to choose which things we're going to have and which things we're not?
When Fox 45 News pressed the mayor for answers on the quality of life crimes this week, the mayor pointing fingers at the bench.
We all have to hold accountable every part of the system. So I'm not a judge, right? I don't determine how long someone stays in jail.
Judges sit on the bench. We don't fix the problems. The job and the responsibility of making it a wonderful place for us to live falls on the person we elected to do that job. And we elected a mayor to do that job. Just like we elected a state's attorney when things weren't working.
Hurd says Baltimoreans are frustrated, and those frustrations center around not feeling safe in their own communities.
The mayor is responsible for focusing and targeting on the quality of everything that happens in everyone's life.
With election season upon us, she says the future leader of Baltimore City needs to listen to the people.
If the mayor doesn't understand that even these low-level crimes are impacting his people, his citizens, and that those crimes need priority, then he doesn't understand the cries, the complaints from the people he serves.
And right now, she's not convinced that's happening. Mayor Scott says some of these issues and concerns should be addressed in Annapolis, but right now it's unclear exactly what bills the mayor's pointing to. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
State lawmakers are frustrated after the judiciary paused a program for private home monitoring for people awaiting trial across Maryland. In 2021, lawmakers passed a bill creating the program for people who qualify. That's usually people who have been approved for home monitoring by a judge but can't pay for it themselves. In December, the chief judge of the district court, John Morrissey, realized the judiciary had spent $4 of the $5 million allocated for the program. Now he says the program has invoices for more than the allotted amount of money. The two largest companies providing home monitoring through the program say its future could be in jeopardy if they don't get more money. Now, lawmakers pressed Judge Morrissey about the issue during a budget hearing yesterday. The judge told them the program was cut off last week, which came as a surprise to lawmakers. Now the question is, where will the funding come from to keep people in the program?
We estimate about 650 individuals. We terminated the program on Friday, this past Friday, because we knew we were out of money. The concern is for those individuals that are currently in the pipeline right now on private home detention, in what it would take to get funding for that particular issue to keep those individuals still on private home detention.
The judge estimates that it will take about $2 million to fund the program. This morning, Senate President Bill Ferguson said the state can't just write a check. The funding has to go through the budgeting process. He says the judiciary should have told lawmakers about the problem sooner.
We have to find a short-term solution for those who are currently on monitoring, and then we have to have a broader conversation about where this should land. Ankle monitoring oversight and administration in the long term, but right now we have to solve a problem that we shouldn't be learning about in this moment, in this week. This is something that the judiciary had knowledge of, should have given us insight into ahead of session, and yet again it feels like we have been stuck to solve a situation that could have been solved with thoughtful conversation.
The governor's office says the program was designed to be a one-time funded operation. It wasn't supposed to continue beyond the original allocation. However, he is encouraging the judiciary to work with lawmakers to continue the program. This is a developing story that Fox 45 News will continue to follow the money and keep you up to date on air and on our website, foxbaltimore.com. I'm Maxine Stryker. Thanks for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, take a moment to subscribe to our channel.